Welcome to another broadcast of I Have a Testimony. I'm your host, Brother Willie Muhammad.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.
Today we have with us one of the unwrapped gifts, in my opinion, in our nation. Our brother's a hard worker who knows how to get things done. He's responsible for helping several cities transition from study groups to mosque status. He currently serves as the student minister of Muhammad Mosque number 78 in the city of Jackson, Mississippi. Our brother, Dr. Abram Muhammad.
His girl, who was an activist in the movie, who didn't want to have nothing to do with it because Big Dog had decided to go on the dark side of making money. Right. At the end of the day, when Big Dog came to save them all, just like it always is, the black woman came to his aid. That's right. Right there. And it was Big Dog and Nina, I believe it was her name, or Nina, something to that degree. Mm-hmm. And they showed the black man and the black woman, Sister Crystal, lined up back to back, putting in work.
Yes, sir.
Mowing the enemy who came into our community to kill us all.
Mm-hmm. Back to back.
She told him in the beginning, they might be purging us for 12 hours for one day, but you've been killing us for 364 days. Mm-hmm. Meaning by him selling drugs and everything in his own community.
Right.
So what's the point I'm making with all this? The point I'm making is, even though he has made us a devil, even though he has made us other than the child of God, if you just leave us alone, if you just allow us to see, our eyes become open as to what's taking place in front of us. If you would just hearken unto the voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, hear the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Realize that this enemy is not only an enemy of yours, but he's an enemy of God himself, which makes him an enemy of yours.
I sound like him, brother Dr. Abram. Thank you for accepting our invitation to be a guest on the show. I got caught up in the clip, man.
Oh, wa alaikum salam. Thank you, sir.
Well, praise be to Allah. We're going to get straight into the interview, man. So once again, thank you. So my first question is, first, let me begin by thanking you for the work that you have done and are doing and will do, inshallah, in the city of Jackson, Mississippi. So how are the believers handling the reopening of our mosque there?
All praise due to Allah. Wow. That's a nice clip you have there, brother. The believers are doing wonderful, brother. They're excited, motivated. I mean, they've just been waiting on this opportunity to not only get back to seeing each other, but to be able to get back to the work physically of going after our people and bringing them into the knowledge of God and themselves, and doing the best we can to improve the conditions. So the spirit is on high. It was even higher today, and we're looking forward for it to continue to be on high going forward.
Praise be to Allah. And so what are some of the plans that you and the laborers have for the mosque, and even just the mosque there in its reopening?
Oh, well, praise be to Allah. Thank you for that question, brother. One of the main things that we pledge to do individually first, and when I say individual, I mean as a collective group, as a laboring body, is we pledge to study more together. And we plan to not only study more, but pray more together, and be the best vessel we can to tolerate more, to be more humble, and to be more of a servant. We feel that those are the necessary ingredients that needs to take place before we can implement any of the other things that we want to do, like an MUI here, because we know that there are several citizens here in the city that are looking for another alternative measure of education outside of the public school system that we're currently in, a conflict resolution center in which you have been instrumental in help laying the blueprint on how we go about doing that, and we'll be reaching out more to you on that. But more of the personal thing to me that we want to tackle on is dealing with some of the blight and homelessness that exists in the city. In my conversation with some of the brothers and sisters that find themselves in that particular type of situation, most are very educated. Some had well-paying jobs and just fell on hard times, had family situations and things of that nature. So I'm looking to work. We're looking to work with several businesses and entities that are here to gather up some of the hotel places that are no longer in business as they are, but the structure is still there, to see what we may be able to do to help in that effort, and as well as transitional houses for brothers and sisters that are coming home from the penal institution.
That's good, man. And may Allah bless you all in those efforts. And we open up talking about your work there in Jackson, Mississippi. You also Jackson, Mississippi has been in the headlines recently, partially due to our brother being there, the prime time Deion Sanders, right, for accepting the job to be the head coach of Jackson State University. So, from your perspective, how has his is a two-part question. How has he improved just the overall atmosphere there in Jackson, Mississippi, and at JSU? And then the second part is, how do you think what he's doing is also helping to improve just the larger HBCUs?
Very good question. I know as being blessed to be a part of the football staff here at the Jackson State University, as we say, I can tell you that Coach Prime's impact is far-reaching than just here in the city of Jackson. Now, of course, to answer your question, here in the city, the impact that he has had on the city has been millions in terms of economic impact by what we're able to do and what we're accomplishing by God's grace so far, has allowed the fan base to come back out. Now, Jackson has always supported its team, but the numbers have grown even more so with the record that we're currently doing and the success that we're blessed to currently share. So as you may or may not know, Jackson State leads the FCS in attendance. We have an average attendance of 37,000 or more. For the past two games, we've cleared over 60,000 for both. So, and his impact from an economic standpoint is being far-reaching on that end. And even for away games, you have more people coming to see us play, to one, see him, two, to see if the hype is all about our players as good as they're saying that they are, and three, to see the sonic boom of the South, to see that band. So his impact has been far-reaching from an economic standpoint. But I can tell you, though, if I may take a moment, that just from his presence and what he demands of those of us on staff with him and the players, it's just perfection. And he demands for us to do and be what we say we're going to be. He's more concerned about each player graduating. In fact, he said that he wants to be the first team to have 100% graduation. He's more concerned about his players graduating than they are necessarily playing football, about their conducts and characters. He's spoken several times about the crime in the city and what we can do to help eradicate that to the best of our ability. To that standpoint, he's committed to getting more players into the NFL from HBCUs by bringing that exposure from his platform that he's blessed to have. I mean, let's face it, we have a coach that is on nationwide commercial with Nick Saban, Coach Saban. And I mean, you have larger universities that can't boast of that from their coach. So his platform is far-reaching, and he wants to impact HBCUs in such a way to where it brings that attention. Keep in mind, this is a man who prior to COVID was about to put on the first HBCU NFL combine in the history, strictly for HBCU players. And so I believe that's something that he's still looking to do so he can bring that impact back. But he's just a good God-fearing man that cares about all aspects of Jackson State, every sport. He helps in recruiting in all of those. And he's just bought into the whole city and the whole culture of the great state of Mississippi.
Wow, man, beautiful. Because you just highlighted some stuff like, you were talking about him having a desire to graduate 100% of the students who are part of the team there. And you see, and that's the many things that he's doing, man. And he's setting the standard, brother, like for that Black excellence, and is inspiring other HBCUs as well.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's and he takes pride in that. And I know there's a lot of talk about him, going to other universities or something like that. And that could be something in play down the line. But he's a man that is committed to highlighting the excellence of HBCU, because he firmly understands that before we had a place to go anywhere else, we had just our HBCUs, and he wants to make sure that the pride is there and that the talent is recognized. But more importantly, he cares about the education. I've witnessed this man stop practice to just talk about our conduct in the classroom and graduating and going on to establish businesses and bringing back to the community to make it greater. So he's bought into that whole mindset that we have, that we share in the nation. And he's using his platform to doing so by reaching out to those of us that are around him to do the same thing.
Wow, praise be to Allah. All right, we're coming up on our first break, my brother. And so we're going to pause to get some announcements from our sponsors. And then we'll be back with our brother, Dr. Abram Muhammad. Make sure you hit the subscription button. Make sure you also invite others to hear the next portion of this interview. Peace.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps us to highlight solutions for a brighter tomorrow. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
The hashtag #BankBlack social media campaign made strides not only in revolutionizing how we bank, but also how we think. The movement inspired thousands of African Americans across the country to transfer or deposit millions of dollars into Black-owned banks. These are banks that will invest in urban communities, employ African Americans, support Black businesses, and inspire Black home ownership. This is a very proud moment for our culture as we are taking small, but significant, steps towards building Black power through Black wealth.
Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel at National Network View. I am Minister Muhammad with nnvnews.com.
We're back, brothers and sisters, to continue our interview with the student representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the city of Jackson, Mississippi, Mosque number 78, Dr. Abram Muhammad. So, Doc, I'm familiar with some of the great work that you've done in the state of Florida and what you're doing in there in Mississippi. However, I don't recall hearing or knowing, being aware of how you actually came to be aware of the teachings of the Most High Elijah Muhammad and eventually accept. So can you share that story with us, my brother?
Oh, wow. That's a good question from this. It started while I was on active duty in the United States Marine Corps. Um, wow, you're taking me back on that. I was in the barracks, and there was a brother who went by the name of Justice Allah. He was a 5%er. And he went throughout the barracks and he called for all of the brothers to come down in the gym. If you were a black man, he wanted you to come down to the gym. And so I'm like, man, why would Justice want us to come down here? And so he got in the gym and he started talking about message to the black man and, of course, the 5% teaching at that time. So during that time, I became more aware, listening to Public Enemy, KRS-One, Rakim, Poor Righteous Teachers, Brand Nubian, all the conscious rap that was taking place at that time. And I would always hear this name, Farrakhan. Like, man, who is this? What's this guy Farrakhan they keep talking about? And so during my time in the, while in the Marine Corps, Justice would always say, hey, listen, because I had became a 5% at that time. Fast forward a little bit, just as I say, hey, this brother Farrakhan, man, when if he gives a word on something, we're gonna move out. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna do whatever he asks us to do. And so I was married, and my wife was in the 5% too at the time. My wife of that time, she's have made us transition since that time back to Allah. And women are always a little more spiritual than the brothers. And so she became more in the teachings, started listening more to the teachings, and started going to the mosque. And so I'm around here still talking about, I'm arm, leg, arm, head, I'm God. I don't need to go to the mosque. I don't need this. I don't need that. I already know who I am, so on and so forth. So suffice it to say, after getting out of the Marine Corps, I'm in law enforcement at this time, have been in law enforcement for a little while. And while in there, certain situations and circumstances came up that caused me to really have to call on something other than myself. So I started going to the mosque with my wife, and the minister of the mosque at that time, Brother Minister Jerry Muhammad, who became my first minister, would always court me, man. He would just took his time, nurture me. He made me a friend, something that you and I have always talked about before. Instead of trying to make a convert, made a friend. And so in doing so, I accept and came on into the teachings, and it had a lot to do with my former wife at that time, with her steadfastness, inviting me out, bringing me in. So I came into the teachings that way. Later on, while still on the police force, I found myself in a situation where I was possibly would have to take the life of another black man. And under the circumstances, it wasn't one that would have merited me to necessarily do so. And it called me into question as to whether I still wanted to stay in that atmosphere or still remain to be a law enforcement officer at that time. And so I became more engrossed in the teachings, accepted more of the teachings. And of course, being under the regional minister there at that time in the Mid-Atlantic, Brother Minister Kadir, him just being around an example along with Brother Jerry, just really rooted my faith into this. And so I just came in, and it's been 23 years later.
Praise be to Allah. We know you're serving in the capacity of the student minister. So how did that come about when your first entrance into the ministry within the Nation of Islam?
Through the same people, to be honest with you. I started out as a protocol, and then moved into the secretary position, and then became Brother Minister Jerry's captain at that time. And he had received assignment to go to Norfolk, Virginia, to head the study group there. And so in doing so, Brother Minister Kadir left me in charge of the study group in Virginia and Petersburg, which was under Mosque number 24, Richmond at the time. And so it came that way, but he and I attended seminary school together. I love him so much as my minister that when he embarked upon going to seminary school, I was like, well, I'm your student captain. I got to be there with you, brother. So I'm gonna go with you. And Honorable Muhammad said that you can't be successful unless you speak the language of the people, and the language of the people is rooted in the scriptures. So we need to learn more about that, you know. So that's how I end up going to seminary school, and how we both we were going just for a few classes, but to be honest with you, and then just end up going all the way to receiving our doctorate in theology at that time. So that's how the whole ministry came about, was through that appointment, through that study. And it's been 16 and a half years now.
Oh, wow, beautiful, man. And if you can take a moment, because you were also, you worked there in Pensacola, Florida, right? So
Yes, sir.
share some of the work there and what you were able to accomplish and how you ended up in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes, sir. Well, I ended up in Florida, back in Florida, which was where I was born and raised. And I moved back there to help take care of my mother. And it was just myself to do so. My older brother lived out in California, and he wasn't able to move around at the time. And then a family situation was as itself to where I was able to move at that time. So I moved back to take care of her. And in doing so, the study group that was there, we had about 7 to 10 believers at that time. And Brother Rasul, who was the regional minister at that time, he and I was in communication, and I was working my way back into the ministry at that time. We went through some family situation and went through some things to where I had to fall back. Some things my own hand had wrought that you've heard me talk about before. And I'm not ashamed to talk about that, because I like telling people how down is not out, and how if you repent on certain things and believe and make a change, Allah can raise you even beyond where you were. And I'm telling you, brother Minister, that transition, it was a time where it was like, oh no, he'll never be able to mount to anything. You know how the naysayers are. He'll never be able to mount to anything. He'll never be able to teach again. He'll never be able to do none of these things. And so I shared with Brother Rasul. I said, Brother Rasul, if you give me the opportunity, I promise you, I work so hard, I give you a mosque in under 2 years. And so he worked hard and got me back in working. And in doing so, brother, we were blessed to go from 10 to 47, turn in the charter. And at that time, up until last month, as you know, we became mosque number 98 during that time back in 2011. And so we were blessed to do some good works from Pensacola, that he assigned me to cover the whole Panhandle region that went from Pensacola over to Jacksonville at the time. And we were able to turn in a charter for Jacksonville, which was mosque number 66. And then he gave me latitude to go all the way down to Tampa under his charge. So we did some beautiful, great works there during that time frame. But it was never really my intention, Brother Minister, to move back home to stay. So therefore, after my mother had passed and had been there for a while, I'm kind of like one of those old rugged soldiers that's looking for a new battle, a new war to always fight, new territory to always conquer. And so therefore, I've always been in touch with Brother Sharif, Brother Minister Sharif here in the Southern region. And we talked about, just coming back and forward and helping with some of the cities here in Jackson. Here in the great state of Mississippi, but specifically here in Jackson. And so that was how it was supposed to be, just to come and, help with some of the cities and, start anew and go from there. But the presiding minister at the time, Brother David Muhammad, as you know, who made sure the flag was unfurled for 9 years, had some family situation that needed his attention. The good man he is, asked if I would, step in for a little bit. You know how it goes in the nation. That, hey, just hold us down for 90 days and we'll get somebody. That type of thing. You know how it goes from this. So between he and Brother Sharif, that took place, and through Brother Minister David Muhammad, allowing me to step in and help during that time. We were making certain traction and doing certain things, and he, being such a nation man, said, well, brother, let's just go ahead and keep it that way. Let's just keep the seat as it is, man, and I'll be here to help you up until it's time for me to move. And so therefore, that's how it came about, me being here here in Jackson and making connections with those who have gone before me, Brother Mr. Charles, Eddie, all of those whose shoulders I'm standing on, and trying to make some progress and measure of things now throughout the great state of Mississippi, and now reaching over and helping Monroe, Louisiana, even becoming mosque number 99 there. So it's just been a blessing, brother.
Praise be to Allah. And we're coming up. We have about about 1 minute before our next break. But can you briefly, for those who may be over study groups who will see this, if you can just briefly, I know it's maybe a little hard, just some of the things that you did to help get from that study group to the mosque status?
Yes, sir. Well, one thing that I always preach and that we have to do, brother, is that we have to be into the business of making friends and not converts. And so you have to engross yourself into the community affairs so they know who you are and what you're about, and having a sincere care about the affairs of the community. Engross yourself in that. Be an example through what we see through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan of how we should be to the people, and be what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked the Master Farrakhan Muhammad as to how you can save the people. He said you do it by doing 7 words. Be what you want them to be. So if we go about doing those things, and of course there's some other things that we may be able to get into in the other segment that is from a strategical standpoint that help. But first and foremost, be a friend first. And I would like to highlight, we come back in time permit, why is that part so important in going from study group to mosque?
Beautiful, man. And the time is going by fast. We're up on our next break. So for those who are watching, if you're just tuning in, we're here with our brother, Dr. Abram Muhammad, and he's the student minister of Jackson, in Jackson, Mississippi, mosque number 78. So stay tuned as we pause from these announcements from our sponsors, and we'll be back to hear more of our brother's interview. Peace.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps to combat false media. Cash App NNV News.
AsiaticMinds.com. Online education, helping our children to discover their God-given skills, gifts, talents, and passion that will allow them to see their greatness, as well as the greatness of our people. And upon discovering that greatness, infusing them with the desire to use it for the betterment of themselves, their families, our people, and the world. 2022 through 23 enrollment waiting list open now. Visit AsiaticMinds.com.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Thank you for tuning in to NNV News. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, National Network View. This is Clifton Muhammad with NNVnews.com.
And we're back, brothers and sisters, with our interview with our brother, Dr. Abram Muhammad. And prior to us going on to break, he was sharing about, he talked about being friends instead of so much focusing on converse. And he said there's also some strategic stuff that we can do. So, Doc, can you briefly share some of those strategic things?
Yes, sir. Just very quickly, I like to have what Allah's blessed me to institute what's called the 85-3 method. And that's when you take certain portions of the neighborhood and you make sure that you reach 85% of a particular block at least 3 times before you move on to the next block. What we have found is that oftentimes we have the reputation of we'll come around whenever we need something or want something or trying to convey something one time. But people, in particular, our people love consistency. And I found that the consistency using the 85-3 rule, that people become more familiar with us, more attracted to us, and more apt to come out and hear what it is that we have to say. So that's one measure. And as you heard me say before, go into the barbershops and the beauty salons and just sit down and listen and have a conversation with people and be able to find a way to bring in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught by the Honorable Louis Farrakhan into those type of conversations. But more importantly, be a friend. Everywhere we look, we hear how important a friend is. When somebody is lonely, not feeling well, or doesn't seem to have anybody to talk to, nobody asks, what's wrong? Don't you have any brothers or sisters or cousins? They always ask, do you have a friend? And in the church, and we always say, what a friend we have in Jesus. Even Allah in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad promised us friendships in all walk of life. Love has no greater love than this, than the one that would give his life for a friend. God referred to Abraham as a friend. So this friendship, in the fraternity I belong to, we believe friendship is essential to the soul. So there's something about being a friend that is more important than trying to necessarily convert someone into something, when the Holy Quran teaches us that only Allah deals with conversion of the heart. Our job is to make a friend. And when you're with a friend, a person wants to be around their friend. They like to be like their friend. They like to emulate their friend. So if we're being a true friend, then the conversion will come about just from our very nature of what we do to be around them. In gross community affairs, 85-3 rule, and more importantly, be a friend.
Be a friend. Beautiful, man. I like him. Very simple, straight to the point, and practical. While preparing for this interview, I came across this picture, which our producers are going to leave on the screen. And this is a picture of yourself and Student Minister Darrell of Macon, Georgia, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Can you share with us the backstory behind this picture and how it came about?
It's my main man, Big D, brother Student Minister Darrell Muhammad at Maker. Yeah, this is when we were at Holy Day of Atonement in Atlanta, Georgia, and this was the Sunday, the very next day, and Brother Darrell and I was downstairs in the lobby, and Brother Sharif called us on the phone, and you know how Brother Sharif could be. Somebody, what you doing, soldier? We right here, brother. Come upstairs right now. Gotta come right now. Come right now. Yes, sir. We don't know what we're coming for, right? So we get upstairs and we meet him outside of the elevator, and he tell us, hey, listen, got a chance for you to see the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Now you go in, you don't hold him up. Hear what the leader got to say, and then we get on out. Yes, sir, bro Reed. So we get ready, we walk inside, and I tell you, brother, to this very day, his words resonate, man. Went through, checked, and had my shoes off and went through, check and everything. And I turned the corner. And for the Honorable Louis Farrakhan to say, my Mississippi preacher. Oh my God, brother. I mean, that just did everything, brother. So we sat there at the table and we talked for a while, and he shared some things. And so he asked, he said, so brother, what is it that's going on in your city? What are you doing? And I shared with him at the time. And I was very nervous because I hadn't gotten permission what I'm about to say or anything, but you know me, brother, I like to think out of the box. And so I said, with the apostle, I said, I just want to report to you that we had over 500 first timers to view the Holy Day of Atonement at the watch party yesterday. He said, what? He said, watch party? What are you talking about, son? And I said, well, brother minister, I said, I've gone back to school I'm seeking to get my doctoral in criminal justice, and because I want to teach on a postgraduate level. And I said, and since the election is coming up, and you're speaking about those that are running, I'd use that as a platform through the political science office to set up live streaming as a watch party to hear what you had to say about the candidates to help people make a valuable choice when they go to the poll to make their choice for the presidency. Man, he hit the desk and he said, Sharif, he said, that's the kind of out of the box thinking I like. He said, what you call that, son? I said, a watch party, brother minister. And then from there, next thing you knew, we were blessed to start having watch parties throughout the nation. Now, I'm not saying that to try to toot my horn or anything like that whatsoever. I'm just stating how that meeting and that photograph came to effect. And Brother Sharif and Brother Darrell are my witness to that. And so from there, Brother Joshua was there. And he said, brother, y'all stand up right there and take a picture with y'all with my father. And he took the picture, and that's how it came about.
Praise be to Allah, man. And I know that's not just, you don't have a spirit of a boaster, and you're telling your testimony, my brother. And that is, those type of stories always inspire me thinking outside of the box, man. So thank you for sharing that. So now when I see that picture, I can give people the background of it as well. And so, the show is titled, I Have a Testimony, and where we give people the opportunity to stand before, just to share their testimony, right? And to give people, to help our viewers get a better understanding of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his qualities and different things. So if you have the opportunity to stand before the world and share with the world what you have learned of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, what would be some of the things you would share or qualities of the minister that you would share, and why?
Oh, brother, love personified. And the Honorable Louis Farrakhan has taught us that love is not a noun, it's a verb. It's actions, love personified, brother. I mean, I never thought in my life that I would literally meet a person who could actually take a cursing and give back a blessing. I never thought that I would meet a person who would lay their very life on the line for their people and have laid their life on the line. I mean, let's face it, here's a man that was making $500 a week back in the 50s. That's good money today to do this work of his father. Humility. I mean, I remember going to seminary school and the professor saying, those that wish to undertake this work in becoming a pastor, bishop, preacher, whatever the case may be, he said, you have to be like a doormat where everybody comes and wipe all manners of things on before they enter the home. But at the end of the day, you have to go and shake that doormat out and lie it down, and it still must read, welcome. Oh my God. That stuck with me, man. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is exactly that. Personification of humility, love. But to me, as a military man, he's also one who personifies a perfect love, casts out fear. For this man to operate the way that he does in the midst of the greatest enemy that has ever existed on the planet, the strongest army that has ever existed on the planet, in opposition to the strongest enemy, to God himself, and be unwavering to the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and don't draw men to him, but keep us focused on the mindset of God. What manner of man is this?
Beautiful. And this is kind of, if we can talk some more about this, what are, some of the valuable lessons that you would say that you have learned from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Those things that I just spoken of, that you have to know and understand that sometimes when people say and do things, it's not necessarily you. They're acting out to something that has affected them. And this is why it's so good that he drew us to going and studying dynamics and understanding the dynamics of what has happened to us. and what trigger mechanisms can take place that can bring out certain things. So to see the minister be lied on, talked about, even betrayed to a certain degree by those that claim to love him outwardly and so on and so forth, but yet still be at their aid, be at their assistance, and to still work day and night to get us on the path that we will be found favorable to God. I mean, man, it's just learning how to work without ceasing, loving without ceasing, but more importantly, taking plenty and still taking that cursing and giving back a blessing. I mean, those lessons I've learned from the minister and how to be true and disciplined. Speak truth to power. Be truthful, regardless to whom or what. And just do what you say you're going to do, making your word bond. I would say, and going on that. Here's a man that if he says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And I mean, how many of us can have that kind of impeccable integrity?
Beautiful, man. This time is moving. So we're coming up on our final break, brothers and sisters, but we're here. And I hope, like I am, I hope you all are enjoying this interview with Brother Dr. Willie Muhammad. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you share this and invite other people in to hear the last portion of his interview, but also to watch the rebroadcast. More people need to hear what our brother is sharing. So we're going to pause to hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back with our guests.
Be a part of the force that powers truth in journalism. Your support helps us to highlight solutions for a brighter tomorrow. Go to nnvnews.com/donate.
Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda bad treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
AsiaticMinds.com. Online education, helping our children to discover their God-given skills, gifts, talents, and passion that will allow them to see their greatness, as well as the greatness of our people. And upon discovering that greatness, infusing them with the desire to use it for the betterment of themselves, their families, our people, and the world. 2022 through 23 enrollment waiting list open now. Visit AsiaticMinds.com.
Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. Follow us on social media at NNV News, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel at National Network View. I am Minister Muhammad with NNVnews.com.
And we're back, brothers and sisters, with the final portion of our interview with the student representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan there in the city of Jackson, Mississippi. So, Doc, you mentioned about how you're a member of your fraternity, Omega Psi Phi. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, sir.
So what made you choose that fraternity over the others that exist?
Well, brother, a lot of it had to do with my upbringing as a young man coming up. I always saw the men of Omega doing work throughout the community, taking time with us younger brothers and just making sure that we did things right, decent, and in order. I just always saw them around. But the four cardinal principles always stood out to me: manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. Were those things that just touched and resonated to me. And so it was an easy choice for me in terms of seeing where I thought I best fitted in and where I better could serve, and how the fraternity could better serve me as well. So that's how my choice came about back in the early 90s. I didn't get a chance to complete because, as I stated, I was active duty in the military at the time. So I had to come offline in order to go over to the Gulf Wars, but have over in the recent years have come back to finish the process.
Praise be to Allah. And we see that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was accepted as a member of this great fraternity as well. What do you see as the significance of him being accepted as such? And if you could talk about just the words he shared to the members.
Yes, sir. It immediately what came to mind is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told him, is that all the things that he's wanted and may have given up in order to do this work, that he would receive them. And being an Omega man was one of those things. And so to be the recipient of the founder's robe, which is the picture you just showed there, and to be voted unanimously to receive it as such, it just speaks volumes as to his membership into the fraternity. In this particular picture you have here, you see the Grand Bachelors and our regional minister there giving him his certificate and the bachelor's ring and the sweater and all the other items that you see right there. But also it's important to remember that the minister said during that time that he's all of the Greek alphabets. He's all of the fraternities and the sororities put together. Although Omega is his home and Omega is where he's registered as a member, but he is all of them when we understand it. And that's what's so beautiful about what I'm learning about him in this work, as far as where Omega is concerned, is the reason for the Divine Nine, which consists of all five fraternities and all and the four sororities. It is exactly that. We should be working in harmony together. It's like an army. It's like a military. You have the Air Force, Navy, Army, Marine, and Coast Guard. They all have their particular pride for their particular organization, but they all have various functions in order to carry out the same mission. And the overall mission is to win whatever it is that they're engaged in. And so therefore, that's why it is so vitally important for us to remember what it is that the minister was speaking of in terms of him saying that he's all of them, because this is how all of us can come together and work for the benefit of our people, because that's what it was designed for. The fraternities and sorority came about for us to have a network to be able to make things happen, especially during the times when these organizations came about. But it was for the betterment and the benefit of us uplifting and carrying forth the progress of our communities. And so that's something that we have to get back to, is bringing back the Divine Nine, working in harmony together for the betterment of our people and for our communities. So I was blessed, again, like I said, once again, it's not trying to brag, but a thought came to me. I said, wow, I know within the nation, we have members that are in fraternities and sororities. Why don't we gather those members together within the nation and have us to come back and go to our various chapters and be good influence and have us to remind us of what it is that the founders of our particular organizations had us to come back to do. So I reached out to the West Coast Regional Minister, formerly Brother Tony, but Brother Abdul Malik, and asked him, would he use his platform to help me organize us within the Nation of Islam, bringing back the fraternities and sororities within the nation. So for the third year, we've been blessed to create the NOI Pan-Atlantic Council, where we have over 200 members of those of us in the Nation of Islam from various fraternities and sororities, where we're coming together, not only just give in the Savior's Day gift effort, but we're planning and strategizing as we speak to put together something that you're going to be very proud to see members of the Nation of Islam who belong to the various fraternities and sororities come together to show that we heard what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said. Go back to our various organizations, uplift our organization, and remind them of the cardinal principles that we were founded on.
You kind of touched on, that was one of my kind of my next questions, but I'll still ask it because I believe it'll probably draw some more out of you, and I'll just expand it. So, are there ways like such groups as like us, the Nation of Islam, or any other Black organization that we could pair up with fraternities and sororities and for the benefit of our people? Like what are some examples of how we can do that from your perspective?
Thank you. And that's right there on the campus of VI Love, brother. I know that backdrop right there. Plus I know brother to the right. Yes, sir. Well, the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to me, should be the placenta in which all of the other good intentions should be filtered through in order to bring about a better product of what it is that we're trying to achieve. We all have the same common goal, and that is for the advancement of our people. It's just that we believe 2 and 5 make 7. This organization believes 3 and 4 make 7. One believes 0 and 7 make 7, and 1 and 6 make 7. But the common goal is 7. So what we have to do is stop worrying about who's in charge, who brings about the idea, who's going to be the spokesperson, and focus on what is the overall goal and mission, and who's best at that particular time for that particular mission that we're trying to accomplish. It's best to be out front to serve and bring forth that mission and bring us all together in harmony to do so. But it goes back again. If we don't come in the spirit of being friends first, if we don't go in the spirit of being a servant first, if we don't go in the spirit of realizing that collectively we have the answers, but not individually we have all the answers, we can do the necessary work that needs to be done.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we're getting close to the end of this broadcast. And I want to ask this question as we get ready to close. I would like to give you the opportunity to share anything you may have wanted to share, that you didn't get the opportunity to share because maybe I didn't ask the questions. Is there anything else you want to share?
Oh, praise be to Allah. I just first and foremost want to thank you, brother, for this opportunity to be given this platform, to have this interview. You have always been a brother Willie, that has always just shown love. I mean, you really have, brother. You are such a good, loving brother, man. It's just that nothing but good thoughts come to mind whenever your name is mentioned. And I want to thank you for that, and thank you for the hard work that you're doing here. And I just want to thank my family as well, brother, for just putting up with me, man. I mean, people ask me, brother, how you doing? I say, man, I'm fine. They put, how your family doing, man? They putting up with me. I'm ahead of the game. You know what I mean? I just want to thank them, brother, because without my family love and support, I wouldn't be able to do this work the way I'm trying to do it. I wouldn't be able to do my work as the deputy director here in the city of Jackson for over Parks and Recreation. And I certainly wouldn't be able to do the work within the Pan-Atlantic Council for the city of Jackson. I serve as the chaplain for the metro area, and for the position that I serve in with Jackson State University football team. And it's all because of the base that I have with my love and support of the family and the believers here who support me in the effort and realizing that I'm just trying to make friends. I'm trying to influence people where I am by being where I am. And I firmly believe, brother, that wherever you work at, to show a measure of your humility, if you don't know the name of the person that keeps the building clean, keeps your office space clean, but you know the name of the CEO of that building, I would say that we need to look and measure ourselves, because I know the name of the person that keeps my office clean. that keeps the building clean. We have conversation, we talk, because I really am concerned about everybody that is in my spirit, because I'm trying to do my best to follow my teacher. So I thank Allah for my regional ministers who have taught me a lot. Brother Minister Abdul Qadir Muhammad, Brother Rasul Muhammad, and my current regional minister, Brother Abdul Sharif Muhammad. From Brother Qadir, I learned how to administrate in this work. From Brother Rasul, I learned how to pastor in this work. And from Brother Regional Minister Sharif, I'm learning how to work this work. And I want to thank, of course, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for giving me the opportunity to attempt to represent him to the people. I don't know what I've done in life to find myself in this position in which I feel I'm nowhere near worthy to even try to articulate or regurgitate the words that he's given us and the teaching he's given us. But I thank him for seeing benefit in me, for allowing me to serve in this army in the position in which I'm serving in. So I'm just thankful, brother. While we're going through this Thanksgiving season, I'm just thankful for all of these things.
Praise be to Allah. And Allah, it says in the Quran how Allah loves he doesn't like the ungrateful. So we know that he loves those who are grateful. My brother, thank you for your testimony. And I was thinking, I remember when you were here in the city, you participated in the one that we were doing before we started doing this online, and you came and gave a mighty word to the believers on that Wednesday night, brother. Thank you, man. Your inspiration, you're always on my mind. I be like, I keep in contact with people on social media. I'm like, I ain't see brother Abram. Let me send him a text, man. So
appreciate
man,
it.
Keep working, brother. Keep working, man. Thank you for the assistance that you provided to our brothers and sisters there in the city of Monroe, man. May Allah continue to bless you, and we'll be talking, inshallah.
And I want to thank your regional minister, brother Abdul Halim, for allowing me to serve in there, and of course our West Coast regional minister, brother Minister Malik, for helping me with this, brother. So just thank you, brother. We love you, brother. Y'all keep up the great work there in New Orleans. We love you, brother Minister Willie, and we can't wait to get you over here soon to rock it down here in the great state of Mississippi, brother.
Same here, brother. May Allah continue to bless you and your family.
Yes, welcome. Wa alaikum salam.
And for those also, we want to extend our gratitude for you all who are tuning in today, watching this live on social media, Facebook, YouTube, or even on the NNV website. And we also want to thank those who are watching this, that you are catching it rebroadcast. Continue to share this, continue to tell other people about this I Have a Testimony, because we have some great guests coming up, inshallah, in these next coming Sundays, brothers and sisters. So thank you. This is your brother Willie Muhammad with I Have a Testimony on NNV, National News Network View. Peace.
Home and study. See, many of you don't study your religion. And you think you're going to attain something without study. But if you believe in something, you need to study it so you can become proficient in what you do. Now watch this.
God came to us to seek and to save that which was lost. He raised a man from among us.
He, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, laid the foundation. What I'm doing is something that comes from him through me, and the thing that he uses in me to do the work is my faith in him and the word that he taught. To produce men and women who wanted to clean up their life and build an independent nation for the glory of God.